So the fact that Prince Paris's backstory would fit in pretty well with a number of D&D games I've played both comforts and frightens me on how little we've changed as human beings. Hello everyone, my name's Garvin and I review books as well as make videos on YouTube as requested by my ever-wise patrons. Now, most of what I'm about to talk about is from the Lost Epics that we covered in an earlier video. If you haven't watched that, why not give it a look? That said, what I've done here is taken a number of semi isolated stories and tried to string them together into a single narrative for you. Because if a bunch of Romans in the 3rd century AD can do it, why not some book reviewer on YouTube, right? Now, Prince Paris was born a son of King Priam of Troy. This isn't all that special because King Priam has somewhere between 50 to 68 sons, as well as at least 18 daughters. Yeah, some people have enough kids to start a soccer team. Priam's aiming to get his own league. That and I think he just never slept alone. Back to the story. When Paris is born, right away everyone knows this kid is trouble. The seer Aeacus tells Priam that if Paris lives, the city will burn. And then the priestess of Apollo, Hierophile, now there's a name, comes to the royal family and says, "Hey, turns out it's the baby or it's the city." And in some versions, to top it all off, Paris's older sister, Cassandra, who's, as I just said, a daughter of Priam, also tells him, "Hey, this kid is going to kill us all." This is also the last time anyone comes close to believing Cassandra. Poor Cassandra. This puts King Priam in a bit of a pickle because, well, he doesn't want to kill a baby. Never mind his own kid. But then he realizes, as king, he has a responsibility to look out for the well being of his city. And that's when it hits him, wait, I'm king. I don't have to kill a baby. I can tell someone else to do it for me. And that's when he turns around to his chief herdsman and shepherd, Agelos. Now, I feel bad for Agelos because dude's just trying to raise some animals in peace, and then his boss is going, "Hey man, kill my kid." That's a rough day at work. Well, Agelos does as well at this as most of us would do when getting a surprise order to commit infanticide, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. Instead, he leaves Prince Paris on the slope of Mount Ida, where Paris is promptly adopted by a bear. Before we get too far into the weeds here, there are some divergences. In some versions, Paris is raised by Agelos, who repents and goes back and rescues Paris, finding him among the bears. In others, he's tripped over by a different group of shepherds, and in each story, there's a different time frame of how long Paris is with the bears. Personally, I like the idea of Paris spending a couple of years with the bears for reasons you'll see later. Now, Paris grows up on the wooded slopes of Mount Ida and achieves some local fame and respect when, still as a kid, he takes out a band of cattle thieves and then goes on a crusade to end banditry against the herdsmen and shepherds of his local area. Given everything, I like to think he did this barehanded. Paris's thrilling heroics get him the attention of a nymph who is the daughter of a local river god. Her name is Inoni, and Paris ends up marrying her and they have a son together. There's not a lot written about this, which is a shame because this is just me. I think Paris would have to do some deeds to convince a river god to let him marry his daughter. Because keep in mind at this point, Paris is not a prince. He's nobody. He's this dude who can rough up peasants through the power of bare arms, but that's not going to get you the nod to marry an immortal magical being. Inoni herself was known for having healing abilities, prophecy. She's also linked to wine, so she could easily do better. In fact, she had a vision, turned around and begged Paris to promise her to never go to Sparta because doing so will doom him. And this is where Paris starts to become a little unsympathetic to me, but we'll get there. This is a high point in Paris's life. He's fairly wealthy, owning herds and land. He has a wife who is literally a minor goddess, has a son, and is widely respected in his community for said heroics. And at this point, he picks up the amusement of bullfighting. Now, not like Spanish bullfighting. This is, I guess, more like bull wrestling, where two bulls are pitted against each other and they slug it out. Although in some versions, it's more of a cattle show. But he's got a prize bull that he's raised from calfhood. And he creates a little golden crown and announces whoever can beat his bull, he'll give the crown to. Hearing this, Ares, the Greek god of war, decides for some bizarre reason he wants that crown. Maybe he thinks it'll fill the void left by the fact that his father doesn't love him, or that his mother mostly just tolerates him. So he turns himself into a bull and, depending on which version you believe, either beats the crap out of Paris's bull or competes against it non-violently in a cattle show with Paris as the judge. I tend to lean towards the beat the crap out of one because this is the god of war we're talking about. Either way, in both versions, rather than go back on his word or call foul on a god transforming into a bull, which I think would have been fair, Paris declares Ares the winner and gives Ares the crown. He's honestly a really good sport about the whole thing, and that impresses Ares. This is where the seeds of Paris's downfall are planted, although he really has no one to blame for this but himself. Fast forward to Thetis' wedding. As an aside, Thetis is the mother of Achilles, and I'm not going to get into her story because she deserves her own video. It's that complicated. If you want to hear that, leave a comment. Now, everyone was invited to this wedding except for Eris, the goddess of discord and unnecessary drama. Shockingly enough, no one wanted that at the biggest wedding in Greek mythology. Well, Ares is the goddess of unnecessary drama, so she's not taking this lying down. She gets herself a golden apple, inscribes to the fairest, and lobs it right into the wedding right when everyone has just gotten drunk. Now, frankly, I would hand that to the bride on the theory that the day of your wedding, you're the fairest woman there. That's just how it works. Every woman deserves to be the prettiest person at their wedding. Just roll with it. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite disagree with me, and they start demanding that apple right away. And it gets pretty close to a fist fight. They go to Zeus, and Zeus takes one look at this and goes, judging a beauty contest made up of my wife, my daughter, and the goddess of love. There is no way this ends well for me. So he starts looking for a way out of this. I like to imagine this is when Ares pulls him aside because he sees a chance to do his dad a solid and tells him about Paris, who is the perfect sucker, I mean proxy judge for this. And at this point, I don't even think it's about the damn apple anymore. I think for Hera, it's getting one over Aphrodite and putting her stepdaughter Athena in her place. For Athena, it's showing up her stepmother and probably throwing an elbow at Aphrodite. I mean, I don't see the goddess of wild passion and beauty getting along with the virgin goddess of wisdom. And I'm willing to bet there's some snarking about, well, of course she's a virgin. And Athena's probably tired of that. So, she wants that apple to grind in everybody's faces. As for Aphrodite, she is the literal goddess of beauty and love, as well as war and Sparta, but that's a whole thing. And she will be damned before she lets anyone else be declared the fairest, right? Well, In case you don't know the story of the Judgment of Paris, it gets settled by bribery. Hera turns around and tells Paris, I'll make you king of Europe and Asia. Athena offers to make him the wisest, smartest, and strongest man in the whole world, and Aphrodite goes, Hey, I'll give you another dude's wife. By which I mean Helen of Sparta, who's married to the king of Sparta, who every king and hero in Greece is oath bound to go to war over if anyone tries to take Helen away from this dude and murder everyone that the guy who kidnapped her knows and loves. She's also the little sister of the princes Castor and Pollux, who have already gone to war over someone kidnapping Helen and dethroned the dude who did it. I'm saving that story for the Helen video, though, which might end up being wilder than this. Paris loses his damn mind, thinks this is a great bribe, and goes for it. I, you guys can't see it, but my face is in my hands. It is in my hands. We're running a little long here, I think, so I'm going to stop the video right here. Rejoin me next week for part 2, Shipping Straight to Hell. I'd like to give a thank you to Big Steve, our highest level patron. If you have enjoyed this video, why not join us at the link below for as little as $1 a month? You get to vote on upcoming videos, upcoming book reviews. I'm also going to put a link to my written book reviews, which is about 7 years worth of content. Hope you enjoy that. And I really hope to see everyone next week. Until then, stay safe and keep reading.